Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Blog Talk Radio's The Incoherent Ramblings of C&E. Christopher and Eric are your hosts, coming to you live from Greensboro, North Carolina, as we do every Thursday from 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Our intro music is provided from the Podshow PodSafe Music Network. Check it out at music.podshow.com. Also, feel free to email your topics for discussion, suggestions, and comments to incoherentramblings@live.com.
This is Christopher.
This is Eric.
July 15th, 2010, broadcasting live from the internationally famous C&E Studios. How are you, Eric?
Oh, it's fantastic.
It's a hot summer day.
It is.
Not horrible, though.
No.
I haven't been out in the heat of the day, but this morning it was hot, but it seemed like the humidity wasn't as bad as it was a couple of days ago when we got some much-needed rain.
And but I think it's supposed to be hot this week.
Yes, definitely.
So
Our tailgaters are out there. They have some with portable gazebos.
Yes.
And some umbrellas and whatnot.
I'm going to break mine out. Megan's got a party coming up this weekend.
Yes.
So I need to break out my gazebo.
I'm coming.
Are you?
Just to let you know. Yeah. Olivia will not be here. Don't mention it to her, please. Just a little housekeeping right there to start the show. But yeah, it's hot. It's summer, no doubt about that. But it never surprises me that with our tailgaters, regardless of the weather,
just to get a glimpse of
the studio. It's a little flattering. It goes to our head.
It does.
I always puff my chest out when I walk by, and they scream, and I wave out the window. But just for a glimpse of fame.
Yeah, when I put my head out the window, I don't know if I can do it now. I don't know if the window's locked. But they chant my name.
Yeah.
They see my face, they chant my name. And I love it. And sometimes they'll throw bratwurst up at the window. No, that's what we like.
Exactly. And bacon.
I
was talking with one of them, and I've always been curious how they're getting internet, because they're out in the lawn, and people, our listeners, can only listen to the internet, and one of them is hacked into or borrowing or whatever, how you want to call it, just someone's Wi-Fi here.
I figured it's not Clearwire. I didn't.
Oh no, it's
like stealing.
I thought maybe it was a cell phone or something like that.
Well, if you're going to steal something, steal our show.
So it is. Our show is free, so you're stealing something that's free anyhow.
That's
so
right.
You're not really breaking the law.
I don't see it that way.
No, I don't either. No ISP, man.
Oh, it's so weird now.
Yeah. So anyhow, you having a good week?
I am. Supposed to have a closing tomorrow. That's always good.
That is good.
Get me coming at a better time. I signed up my first merchant on Every Swipe Counts.
Oh, really?
This week. So that was good.
Local?
Could have a second one tomorrow. Yep.
Is it now? I know you may not want to. You can't disclose the name, but I'm just kind of curious.
Tax service.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if it was like a local place or if it was a national chain that has a local owner or.
Yeah, it's a local owner.
Okay.
My accountant.
Okay. Cool deal.
Yeah.
So first thing underway there.
I may sign up Fantastic Tans tomorrow.
Oh, that would be fantastic.
Wouldn't that be fantastic? It would almost be fantastic.
Well, that's good news.
Yep.
So you've got a little business going in both of your lines of profession.
Yep.
That's a good thing. I just ended on call, so I am
on a conference call as we're doing the show.
Yes.
I'm multitasking.
Well, last week I was on call during our show. This week you're on a call during our show. So we this is how much we care about our listeners. You could have not been here today. You called me earlier. You could have said, Christopher, I can't make it today. I had a conference call. It was scheduled yesterday. It got rescheduled for today. I can't make it. Our readers would have understood, but you want to give back.
That's right.
So
I got my point right straight.
Yeah, that's how we do it. unless it's family, we're here for the show. So that's our promise to you. Well, you know the drill by now, but you can go to blogtalkradio.com/incoherent ramblings. And if you've got that far, I'm sure you're at least technically savvy enough to get the rest of it. You go to Facebook, MySpace, yes, even MySpace, the trailer park of social networking, Twitter, and then please go to iTunes. Even if you don't have an iPod, or even if you don't have an MP3 player, just go to iTunes and subscribe. It's free. Right? It costs you absolutely nothing, and it even though our show is free to you, it costs no money. It enhances our actual bottom line.
Right.
So.
And you can, anytime a new show comes out, it automatically downloads, and you can.
And somebody's been doing that because our downloads have skyrocketed. Remember, I told you about 3 or 4 weeks ago. They've jumped over 1,000 downloads in the past 3 weeks.
Did you give our call-in number?
1,300 downloads.
Wow,
in 3 weeks. Our call-in number is 646-716-6928. And most people have a cell phone with long distance, so it shouldn't be a problem. So we have a plethora of stories today.
We do have a fair amount.
We have some good news stories.
We do.
We have some heroic deeds. We have some odd stories, and then we have maybe some unfortunate yet still funny stories. And there may even be a rant or two. Who knows?
Right. Absolutely.
We always reserve the right to rant. That was alliteration. I didn't mean it. So, do you have anything you'd like to start us with?
I will. This is I want to start off by saying this is a little challenging. Listening to one thing in one ear, you in the other.
Right.
I'm not that talented. Let's see here.
Just flip it off your ear.
My first good news story comes from my home state of Ohio.
Okay.
A true superhero. His friends call him Batman.
Oh.
His name is Keith McVeigh. My old wrestling coach in high school was named McVeigh. But I think it's different. This guy's a postal worker.
Right.
Okay, he's a postman. He shows the flashy garb of comic book superheroes performing his good deeds and wearing the sedate blues of U.S. Postal Service. The Akron, Ohio mail carrier, who's 53, has saved 3 lives during his 29-year tenure, most recently providing a crucial CPR to an unresponsive young man. McVeigh was walking his route Saturday, delivering mail to the King Apartments in the Lake Nesmith neighborhood of Akron, when he heard a commotion, one man shaking another man, screaming and slapping him and trying to elicit a response. His color was real bad. His lips started turning blue. He said, I knew he was having a serious problem, McVeigh told AOL News. With help from a few folks in the gathering crowd, McVeigh got the man onto the ground and started CPR.
Wow.
A former Air Force firefighter, McVeigh hadn't performed the life-saving technique in 3 decades, but went right to work after a few minutes. The man's pulse returned. Medics took the man to the hospital, and McVeigh made the rest of the day better deliveries.
Wow. You said we can multitask.
Yes.
Wow.
The man he helped was released from the hospital, so he's doing fine.
That's good news.
Let's see here. McVeigh's, the father of 2 college-age sons, exhibited the same rare blend of superhero instincts and steady devotion to duty when he saved a drowning young woman near the site of last week's rescue. A similar scene 2 years earlier, the man in blue was delivering mail when he heard a commotion, a 13-year-old girl screaming for help. He spotted her in Lake Nesmith, 70 or 80 feet from shore, bobbing under the surface. He said, I swam out there, got her, she grabbed onto me, we both went under for a while. I did the backstroke until we got to shore. He said, and that was it. He said, I was just at the right place at the right time. True to his superhero M.O., McVeigh saved the girl, then delivered the mail, this time soaking wet.
Hope it wasn't winter.
He said he didn't change his socks. McVeigh's first act of postal route heroics occurred 20 years ago when he tried to talk a boy down from a bridge. He failed. The boy jumped into a snowbank alongside the highway.
Mm-hmm.
Fearing the boy would be hit by a car, McVeigh climbed over a carrier onto the snowbank, flagged down some help from neighbors and a garbage truck driver, and stayed with the boy until he was safe. We're just so proud of him, his supervisor said. So
you notice a little theme here. They were all in the same area. Sounds like he actually may be the culprit. Yeah, and then saving them so you get back in the spotlight. No, I'm joking. I don't want you
10 years from now, we'll probably have another story like this. Same guy.
Yep. I have, that's from Ohio.
Also from Ohio.
Yeah, we like to tie our stories together if we can. So, excuse me, I have a story from Ohio.
Okay.
It sounds kind of grim, but it's a tale of survival. Ohio dog warden says a German Shepherd named Sarge is one tough pup after surviving 6 gunshots to his head, neck, and chest. Witnesses tell police in Toledo that the dog's owner and another man took turns shooting the dog with a pistol while he howled in his cage. Lucas County dog warden Julie Lyle says the bullets remain lodged inside of Sarge, but he only needs painkillers and antibiotics. She says the dog was up, around, eating, and drinking. His owner is due in court next week on charges of cruelty to animals and discharging a firearm. He told officers that the dog had bitten him and that he was dangerous. The other man pleaded no contest. I find it they haven't said alleged in here, and I'm kind of surprised. They usually do say alleged for everything. I find it kind of difficult to believe the man's story. Certainly, a lot of people may disagree with this. It may be a controversial statement, but certainly I think you have the right to euthanize your animal if you so deem necessary and you're not being inhumane. I've done it with a dog that had been beaten up in the fight that was out in the chasing a dog in heat. And bigger dogs jumped him, and there's no way he would have made it to the vet. He wouldn't. We lived out in the country, 20, 25 minutes to the vet, waiting room. He would have been dead, and it was the right thing to do, even though nobody wanted to do it. I don't feel that should have been cruelty to animals, but I find it difficult to believe if this dog bit him. I find it difficult to believe that he and another man were sitting there taking turns shooting at it. That sounds more like some sick way to get entertainment to me. I could be wrong, but I mean, if they wanted to kill the dog, all they had to do is put one bullet. That's all it would have taken. Really, that's all it would have taken. So I don't really buy his story that the dog had bit him, so he's trying to kill it. But that aside, I thought it was pretty impressive for a dog to receive 6 bullets in the head, neck, and chest, and he's like up around eating and drinking. And all of them are still lodged inside of him.
Right.
So,
what amazed me, shot in the head, I seen a picture of him.
Yeah, there's a bullet hole.
It's sad that it happened to him.
Right.
But I guess the good news is that he survived.
Yep. And I'm sure they will get a family that can take better care of him. I would hope. So, a tale of survival.
I have no good segue for this good news story.
Okay.
Homeless man rescues flag and inspires nation. Okay.
I'm inspired.
I am too. This comes from a homeless man in El Paso, Texas, is receiving a country's worth of praise this week after rescuing Old Glory. Leaving his 2 cats in the relative comfort of his makeshift shelter, in the middle of the night, Gustus Bozarth rushed out in torrential rains to rescue a flag that had been knocked over by the storm. After carefully folding it military style and tucking it under a windshield wiper, Bozarth moved the flagpole to the front of the building. So, he's
inspiring a nation.
Yeah, students and stuff.
Well, it's better than these idiots that burn the flag.
That is true.
At least he had some respect for the nation in which he lives.
Right. And there's a Facebook page that says Gustus Bozarth for president.
Well, I mean, it's got the presidential
He has
switch.
1,800 fans.
Right. Wow. That's impressive. Inspiration Nation.
Yes.
Well, good for Gustus.
That really is good, I guess.
You mentioned the postal man. His nickname was Batman. And I've already deleted the email. You know how I do. I delete an email when I get done with it.
Right.
A listener of the show actually sent an email with like cartoon characters after they're old and washed up. And there was one of like Spider-Man who was using his IV to shoot a web and things like that. But the one that cracked me up was Batman and Robin. and like Batman was in the wheelchair and Robin was pushing. And Batman was like no teeth, and he was like gums, like drool was coming out from his gums and stuff. I don't know. I don't even know why it came. Oh, Batman. Yeah, it was funny. I wanted to show it to you. I don't have it. I'm sorry.
I'm sure a joke I ever learned as a kid is why couldn't Batman go fishing?
Why?
Because Robin ate all the worms.
I'm sure Robin. Never mind. No, we often in our good news story have stories about people that find stuff that's of great value and return it to its rightful owner. I believe you have such a story as that for today. Well, a Minneapolis teacher was devastated when her brand new Tiffany engagement ring fell into a lake until a treasure hunter came to her rescue. Adam Seeger and Sarah Stocco got engaged last month. They were boating in Lake Minnetonka. She took off the ring to keep it clean while she applied sunscreen to her fiancé. She put the ring into her mouth, but it fell, hit the floor of the boat, and bounced into the water. Denny Jeffrey of nearby Long Lake, Minnesota, says he'd been hunting treasure in lakes for over 40 years. After hearing of her loss, he donned his scuba gear, spent 3 days searching with a metal detector. He found it buried in 3 inches of sand and was given a $750 reward for his efforts. So he could have kept that. They knew he was looking for it, but he could have kept that and nobody would have ever known.
Absolutely.
But he turned it over to its rightful owner, so good for him.
I'm out of good news stories, so I'll let you finish.
I thought you had the one about the custodian.
I didn't read that one.
Oh.
Because I didn't think that was very heroic. Maybe it was an afterthought, and but I thought he was just doing what he should have done anyway.
Right.
You can't call that heroic in my book.
Right. Well, at least it was honest.
I read a story, what Christopher is alluding to is I read a story about a custodian who worked at some high-end hotel who, in cleaning up the room, found $50,000 in cash in a safe. And he turned it in. And so he was being touted as a hero for turning that money in.
Mm-hmm.
And I was telling Chris, I just thought that was what they should do anyway.
Well, it is what you should do.
And
but the guy with the ring, what he should do is turn it into him, but he could have kept it.
That you could say is finders, keepers, losers, weepers.
Well, the same way with this dude. He found it.
That's what I'm saying. The scuba diver dude could be finders.
So could the custodian.
No.
He found it.
Yeah, but he found it in not his own. I mean, this is like in a lake or in a river or somewhere out in the middle of nowhere. Right. This is in a hotel room where you have a pretty good idea the last guy staying there, that's probably his cash.
Right. But if he kept it, he could have made away with it and then not know it.
I think he could have made away with it. I think they would have suspected him right away.
I think instead of calling it heroic, they should just, call it an act of honesty.
Right. Because
he could have kept it and probably got away with it if he did it correctly. But he chose to do the right thing. Right. I think they're just applauding people doing the right thing. But, yeah, I mean, he's not a hero.
Right.
Gustus is a hero.
Right.
To all of us.
Exactly.
Well, here's a good news story about a dog about to die from a heat stroke. A veterinarian said a dog trapped in a car on a 90-degree day in eastern Pennsylvania honked the horn until he was rescued. Nancy Soares said the chocolate Labrador was brought to her hospital last month after he had been in the car for about an hour. She said Max's owner had gone shopping and was unloading packages when she returned, but forgot that Max was still in the car. She forgot that. How could she forget that the dog was in the car? That doesn't make sense. She later heard the horn honking and looked outside several times, but saw nothing amiss. Finally, she went out and saw Max sitting in the driver's seat, honking the horn. She immediately gave him a cold water to drink and wet him down with towels before rushing into the clinic. So we have some dogs that are determined to survive. And our last good news story of the day is you had your one about the mailman saving lives and continuing on about his route. Mm-hmm. Well, a transit bus driver in Buffalo, New York is being credited for saving 10 people asleep inside a burning home by pounding on the door. After his heroics, he got back behind the wheel and finished his route. He was driving a bus in South Buffalo around 6:30 in the morning. He saw smoke coming out of the back of a two-family house. He stopped the bus. Passengers were on board. He was like, just hang on a second, people. Banged on the front door until he woke the people up inside. They got a woman living upstairs with 3 children, a teenage nephew, and a man downstairs with his wife and 3 kids. They could have all easily died if not been for this guy. So, oh my goodness, I am sorry. Basically, he banged on the door. They woke up. They heard someone screaming. They came to the door to figure out what was going on. He told them they gathered up wife, children, and kids and went outside, and the house burned down. And they all made it out alive and unscathed. So, good for him. And so that is the end of our good news stories.
Okay. Well, that was a good mix of good news stories. Mm-hmm. Some days we have a struggle.
Yes.
So, are we ready for more bizarre news?
Yes. Okay. I have something.
Okay.
That's good news for the individual. And it's from Ohio. So we can stick with that thing. An Ohio woman who paid $5 at a yard sale for a LeBron James pendant she thought was costume jewelry has found out it's worth nearly $10,000. 20-year-old Benisha Robinson says she used to wear the basketball jersey-shaped pendant to high school when she didn't know its value. Then she had it appraised. The International Gemological Institute said Robinson's find is the real deal. Gemologists say the 14-karat white gold pendant sports more than 2 carats of diamonds. The number 23 jersey reads King, and on the front and James on the back. This particular young lady is an amateur boxer from James' hometown of Akron. She has listed the jewelry on eBay. She says the King's brand will never die, even though he left the Cavaliers to play for the Heat. So that's kind of a cool story for her. She paid $5 for something at a yard sale. Mm-hmm. Didn't think anything of it. Was wearing it to school, and all the while she had like 2 carat worth of diamonds around her neck. Right. That's kind of cool. So now let's see. I have another story. This is just I'm gonna let you guys.
This is from Ohio. No, you keep going.
This is from Ohio.
Yeah.
And it also has something about monkeys.
Okay. Monkeys in Ohio go along.
Medina, Ohio. Police say a truck crash in Ohio left animal carcasses all over the road, and the driver's pet monkey stranded atop a utility pole. Highway Patrol said the truck was hauling carcasses. Highway Patrol said the truck was hauling carcasses for a meat processing plant late Monday afternoon. The patrol said the truck flipped over while going into a curve. The frightened monkey scampered up the pole after the accident. Troopers said the truck driver was okay. The monkey had to be coaxed down from its perch. The meat plant sent another truck to pick up the carcasses, and state and county highway crews were sent out to help clean up the mess. No charges have been filed.
Unmuted, right?
Yeah. Yeah, well, your line is muted, plus that's muted.
So they unmute their line.
Oh, no, you're muted. Do you hear a beep, beep, beep in your ear?
No.
Every few seconds? Yeah, you do. You just haven't listened to it. says the leader is muted in your line. So, it's kind of interesting, this guy hauling around dead carcasses for a meat processing plant. I don't know what that means. But he carries around his pet monkey with him. So, I just think that would, that sounds like it would be an interesting, maybe skit for SNL.
Oh, absolutely.
Someone driving around dead animals, a monkey screeching and, like clawing his eyes out, climbing up the utility pole. I don't know. Thought it was funny.
I didn't find it in my search, but I heard a story this week at some point about a car crash. There was a truck that was involved that was carrying a bunch of carcasses to the meat processing plant. And they spewed carcasses all over the highway.
Do you think it was the same story?
I don't know.
How often do people spew carcasses on the highway?
And maybe it was the same story. I don't know.
This sounds kind of nasty. Man spews carcasses on the highway. Yeah. So what do you have for us? Do you have something weird for us?
Here's one from Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Another one from Texas. My last story was from Texas. Dallas man dies after hiring friend to shoot him in a bizarre custody plot. Let's see here. According to Dallas police investigators, 20-year-old Dwayne Lamont Motton hired a friend to shoot him, intending to blame the crime on his wife's boyfriend and gain custody of his 3-year-old son, Dwayne Jr. This was two individuals trying to frame a third individual, said the policeman. The plan was that Jacob Wheeler, also 20, would shoot Mr. Motton, but only injure him. However, the bullet struck Mr. Motton on Saturday, fatally wounding the forlorn father. Mr. Wheeler was charged with murder and an unrelated aggravated robbery charge. He remains in jail on a $750,000 bond.
Wow. It's kind of ironic. It's kind of like an Alfred Hitchcock story if you think about it. Not too funny because someone died, but
So the policeman later said, there are legal ways to get custody of a child, and taking a bullet and ultimately dying is definitely not one of those ways.
Well, plus it's not successful no matter how you look at it.
That's right.
That was not the, I would argue that's not the brightest of plans. They didn't think that one through, I don't think.
He was supposed to swerve this friend, but really it's a poor shot.
Right. This just in from India. Man swallows a snake for a $2 bet.
Oh, really?
He cheated death after swallowing a highly poisonous snake for a bet worth just a couple of dollars. So for our listeners in India, there you go. Breaking news. You heard it here first.
Yes.
We don't. I mean, this story is so new. We don't have his name. We don't have the city. We don't have anything like that. It was just we know it was in India. So.
We just heard it.
Yes,
one of our listeners just sent it in chat-wise. So
exactly.
We haven't confirmed the story.
Right.
We don't have any more details than that. But be on the lookout. I've got one from Australia.
Mm-hmm.
Drunken Australian bitten by fat-footed crocodile after trying to sit on the animal's back. Okay, you would think that this would there might be a bet involved in this one,
Right.
But there was no wager.
There was alcohol involved.
There was alcohol involved. The man ejected from a pub in Australia broke into a zoo and climbed onto the back of a crocodile named Fatso, which bit him on the leg and then let him go. The man ejected from the pub, broke into the zoo, climbed onto the back of the crocodile after climbing a barbed wired fence.
Barbecue wire.
Barbed wire.
That's tasty. What tasty wire?
I'm trying to read here. It's very small. He was thrown out of the pub for being drunk. So yes, there was some alcohol. It was excessive. But he climbed the barbed wire fence because he wanted to give the 16-foot fatso a pet.
Mm-hmm.
A pat on the head.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. He also attempted to sit on the back of the crocodile which had taken offense to that and spun around and bit him in the right leg. The saltwater croc then inexplicably let the man go, and he climbed back over the fence to safety. He's a tourist from Eastern Australia.
He knows Eastern Australia.
He suffered from some very nasty lacerations and was taken to the hospital. Typically, saltwater crocodiles, once they get a hold of you, are renowned not to let you go. He's lucky that he escaped with his life. Saltwater crocodile is the world's largest reptile. It can grow up to 23 feet. Woo! Anyway, that was my alcohol alligator-related story for today.
I have that story as well on my list.
Did you?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
This is a follow-up story.
Okay. Wait a minute, I got another story from Australia.
Okay.
I think. Is this from Australia? No, I'm sorry, no. I thought I did. That was two Philly stories. Nope, that was it. Go ahead.
We had a story a couple weeks ago about a lady from Idaho
Mm-hmm.
that was dumping condiments in library books. Shame on her. 74-year-old. This has a little bit more detail.
I remember that.
Yep. They previously issued a pair of warrants because she didn't. This is why they're reprinting the story. She didn't show up. She failed to appear in court earlier this month after she'd already been caught. She was arrested originally on June 13th. She poured mayonnaise in the library's book drop box that day and was a person of interest in 10 other condiment-related incidents. That is condiment-related incidents. She's accused of repeatedly dumping maple syrup, corn syrup, ketchup, and mayonnaise into library book drops. She's also been charged with carrying a concealed weapon without a license. So she doesn't just attack with condiments, she also attacks with concealed weapons, apparently. I think I would watch it. She obviously, seriously, she's got some kind of mental issues, I would say. Here's a story from Maine.
Okay.
About a crook that we like dumb crook stories too. Well, this is pretty dumb. A 36-year-old man was arrested on Monday and faces a felony arson charge after he set a Mercedes-Benz on fire and then posted photos of the burning vehicle on his Facebook account. The Daily News said the arrest came 2 weeks after police found the burning 1982 Mercedes. Police said the man told officers he saw the car with a small campfire in the back seat. The charge came after police scrutinized surveillance tape from a store close by and seized the man's cell phones and computers. The owner of the non-working car had been trying to sell it. So he sets the car on fire, and then he uploads the photos to Facebook. That's pretty stupid.
That is pretty stupid. When I moved to Ohio in '93 for a year, I was managing a store up there. And one of the workers, who was actually with the church with him up there,
Mm-hmm.
didn't know before I went to work there, but very upstanding young gentleman. They only had one. He and his wife, not very well off, had their only car stolen. It was recovered several days later, and it had been torched.
Wow.
He had insurance. I don't know if I'm allowed to say the insurance company's name or not, but the insurance company refused to pay because they said he did it based on his financial situation, that he did it to get the insurance money.
Wouldn't they need proof?
Well, I guess they figured he was too poor to fight it.
Wow.
And he was. He didn't have the money to hire an attorney to take on the case. And the car wasn't worth that much to begin with, but it really crippled them financially. And I turned me off to that insurance company for life. Because I know the guy, I know he wouldn't have done that. I can see where they may have seen where that was possible. But to do that without any proof to me seems...
But seeing where it's possible, it could be possible in any situation.
Sure.
But doing it, just seeing it as a possibility and having proof are two different things. And it looks like they wouldn't necessarily need hardcore definitive proof, but at least very good circumstantial proof. I mean, you can get convicted in court over enough circumstantial, sure. But just because he's in financial trouble, that's ridiculous.
Yep. And I think they're the ones that are victimized the most because they can't afford to fight it.
That's unfortunate.
Yep. So, speaking of people that are less fortunate, in Miami, I know it's not one of your favorite cities, there's a piece of legislation that could be passed soon that prohibits people from giving food to the homeless.
Mm. Well, I mean, that is offensive.
Well, they're trying to cut down on litter.
Yes.
So it is for a good cause. A doggy bag from your restaurant dinner could be tomorrow's lunch, but then you see someone on the street who needs the meal more than you do. So you hand it over with a smile, continue on your way, maybe feel a little bit more better about yourself. Then a police officer stops you and hands you a $300 ticket. That's what could happen if the city ordinance being considered in Miami is enacted into law. The Miami City Commission is considering a proposal that will prohibit unauthorized people and groups from sharing food with homeless people in the downtown area.
Wow.
They're trying to cut down on litter.
I mean, seriously, the environmental nuts in this country are out of control.
That is true.
They are completely out of control. You are more concerned about litter. First of all, there's no reason why it's guaranteed there will be litter. If you stop to feed a homeless person, there is one thing that's guaranteed. They're going to have food in their stomach.
Right.
It's not guaranteed there's going to be litter. They might litter. They might be responsible to put in a trash can. So you are going to stop something guaranteed because of something that might happen but isn't guaranteed to happen. That's just ridiculous. I am just sick to death of environmental wackos in this country.
Yeah, the lawyer that was, consult on this. And of course, the city has the power to punish individuals who throw leaflets or food wrappers on the ground rather than those who hand them out. So I guess they figure the people who are handing out the food have the money, where the homeless wouldn't have the money to pay if they were fined.
Right.
Maybe that's their thoughts.
That doesn't make sense, though. You don't punish someone for doing a good deed.
No.
That's stupidity. You know what? This is a perfect example for civil unrest. They should just organize a day where, 10,000 people go out and just start handing out food to homeless people, together all at one time.
Yeah.
I mean, how are they going to do? Round them up with SWAT teams, with riot gear, have it on TV. Well, these treacherous people that are giving to the homeless,
we had to stop them.
We're using rubber bullets and tear gas. I mean, of course you're not going to do that because then they would be,
I don't know. Maybe they look at it as an opportunity to make their budget for that year all in one fell swoop.
Yeah.
Because so much of this is just a way to get money.
Yep. Well, here's about a young man that applies for a job, then decides to get paid even though he doesn't have the job yet.
No.
Two teens were arrested when one of them stole money from the tip jar of a northwestern Indiana ice cream shop just after they put their names on job applications. The clerk at Pat's Ice Cream Parlor in downtown Valparaiso told the police the boys aged 15 and 16 filled out applications Friday afternoon. She went to file the applications when she heard change clattering and saw one of the boys grab the dollar bills from the tip jar and run out. The employee told police she chased after the boy and he turned over $2. Police reported one of the teens said he didn't steal, but he gave the clerk his own money to avoid getting in trouble. Right. Both boys were arrested on preliminary theft charges. So one has to think, were they really applying for the job legitimately and then just were overcome with the temptation to steal money, or was that just a ruse to try to steal money? I don't know.
I got a story. Speaking of, this is a man posts bail with counterfeit bills.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Most people post bail to stay out of jail and not risk a lot more time there. According to the Menson police, a Camden man included counterfeit $20 bills while paying his $400 bail on July 7th. Lousy counterfeit $20 bills. Ran off on a copier, apparently. They're pretty poor. I didn't have to touch them. I knew they were bad, said Sergeant Detective William K. Covert. They were almost as obvious as the copies of $1 bills you have seen created by students trying to fool soda machines. Haven't thought of that. People, the paper didn't feel right. It lacked color threads. Andrew Jackson's face was kind of fuzzy. Ronald White, 35, was arrested for several counts of shoplifting from a Burlington coat factory and ShopRite store on Route 130. He had $900 in cash on him. Not all of it was counterfeit. Let's see here. He was, while the shoplifting charges were being processed, White paid the bail. The next day, Covert discovered that 5 of the $20 bills were funny money. Very funny money, he said. He said some forgers bleach $5 bills, then reprint them with images of $100 bills, hoping to fool the pen test. Another interesting thought. A complaint was signed against White for forgery, but before police found him, he found the police. On Monday, White turned back up at the police station saying he had overpaid the bail and wanted some money back.
I tell you, that guy's got some nerve right there.
In his possession were 2 more bogus $20 bills. So now he's back in jail, and he has a $5,000 cash bail pending.
Maybe he needs to pass off some of that counterfeit money to buy a better ink cartridge or printer. Perhaps. Here's something. It's not that great of a story.
Or he could take the advice of the policeman there and try bleaching the $5 bills
right.
and reprinting with $100 bills or something of that nature.
This story isn't that great or funny, but it's not that often you hear something like this. A Washington State Patrol trooper says the driver of a FedEx tractor-trailer rig choked on some spicy pork rinds, lost control of his truck, jackknifed before coming to a stop at a muddy ditch. Huh. I've never heard of a pork rind being the cause of an accident. Trooper Keith Leary says Edward Sutherland was driving his rig southbound near the Canadian border, when he began choking and veered southbound across the median and to the northern-bound lanes of Interstate 5. Dangerous.
Great White North.
Yes. America's hat. The trucker says the truck didn't hit any vehicles, thankfully. He suffered from minor injuries and will be cited for driving the wheels off the roadway. Let's say he drove across the median and into oncoming traffic. And all he's going to be cited for was driving with the wheels off the roadway. I would say he definitely got cut some slack there.
Well, maybe it was a pork rind defense.
Right.
He's a hoser.
I don't think I've ever heard a story like that before. So
the next time you're in trouble, to the police. How fast are you going? I don't know, officer. I was caught off guard by the spicy pork rind I was eating. I lost track of how fast I was going. Maybe he'll reduce your sentence to driving your wheels off the roadway or something.
If you blow over the legal limit, just keep some spicy pork rinds with you. Like on your way home from the party, just eat a bag of pork rinds and be like, Officer, I ate some pork rinds.
The spicy kind.
Smell my breath.
I can cite an incident where it caused the truck driver to drive off the road.
People versus Edward Sutherland in the Great White North. Oh my goodness.
His charges were reduced.
And maybe the pork rinds could soak up some of the alcohol, thereby lowering your blood alcohol level, and maybe not getting the DUI.
Right.
It's possible.
And less eligible for the pork rind offense.
Exactly.
My erratic driving was due not to the excessive alcohol, but to the spicy pork rind
lodged
in my
throat. Yes.
You can see where this is an epidemic sweeping the country. I cite truck driver
Edward Sutherland. You know, I think they should get this dude for like whoever the leading pork rind. I don't know who that is.
Pork rind
producer. They should get him for like a TV spot or something, like driving down the road. Man, these are some good pork rinds, and you know, driving across the traffic and missing all these cars. I don't know. I think it would work. We have stories on here about people that moon, collective people. I think a couple months ago we had a story about some people that were on a train, and people watching as the train went by. They all mooned the train people, the people on the train. Well, here's
about a set of mothers against
mothers against
ADD,
right,
MAPR, mothers against pork rinds.
The pork rinds are taking our children from us.
Yeah.
Mark. We should market that. Oh yes, mothers against pork rinds, MAPR.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
But Marv sounds good.
It does.
Mother against ripe.
Rind pork products. Marv, yeah.
Or Marv's mothers against rind pork spicy.
And also, like, it would go along with DAM, Mothers Against Dyslexia.
Yes.
Right. It was a full moon time after Washington State Ferry took evasive maneuvers to avoid a sailboat in this path. The Kitsap Sun reports that the ferry sounded its horn and reversed engine Saturday afternoon to avoid hitting the boat at Eagle Harbor. The sailboat briefly disappeared from the ferry crew's view as they passed. When it was seen again, 4 men on board dropped their pants and mooned the crew. So, entertaining event for those people on the ferry there.
Yes.
Mothers, I can't get that on my head. I'm glad we at least amuse ourselves.
Indeed.
We don't amuse our listeners, but every Incoherent Ramblings of C&E for us is an hour-long session of laugh yoga.
It's right.
It is. Which is, will you explain laugh yoga to our listeners?
Laugh yoga massages your inside. Laughter massages your inside. The laugh yoga, this is a 1-hour session of massaging your inside. This is like an internal massage.
Just something else is sweeping the nation.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't think of this as a show. Think this is an hour-long internal massage.
Exactly. Free of charge.
We charge for this?
We should. I mean, other people are charging 99 cents a download off iTunes. Ours is free.
Free.
Yeah. We could charge, but we don't, because that's how we get back.
And we are very, what would you say, charity-minded?
Yeah. Charitable.
Charitable.
Yes.
Like Marps.
Yes.
We're starting a new charitable organization.
Yes, we are. Marps. Save the children from the spicy pork rinds. Yeah. I have just recently flew to South Florida and back. And interesting story, I think my wife and I shared this with you, that there were some people that were inexplicably went to the bathroom numerous times, which would lead you to believe that maybe they had some gastrointestinal issues. But they were never in there long enough to be dealing with those type of issues. So they had to go in there to go pee. This one dude, before we reached our cruising altitude, had gone back there, and the flight attendant said, hey, I can't tell you, I'm not allowed to tell you that you're not allowed to use the bathroom. I just have to let you know that do not unfasten your seatbelt.
All I'm saying is you're risking your life in doing so.
Yes, because the floor might empty out, and as we empty the... And so this dude got up, and I'm not making this up. The flight was only an hour and 23 minutes. He went to the bathroom 5 times. I'm serious. I mean, how could one have to go to the bathroom 5 times in an hour and 23 minutes, especially confined to such a small area as the plane?
Perhaps he was scared of flying. He was in there vomiting.
But that's I didn't even think of that.
Perhaps he was suffering from a spicy pork rind.
They did serve pork rinds on the plane. I don't know what brand, but they did. So maybe it could have been lodged in his throat.
Was he Canadian?
Right. He looked Canadian now that you mention it. He certainly did. Well, this is a airline bathroom story.
Okay.
Air France says a Rio to Paris flight was forced to return to Brazil 6 hours after taking off because of malfunctioning bathrooms.
Wow.
So they're already 6
That's
hours.
a long-ass flight.
Yeah.
I don't know how long that flight is, but that's
11 hours.
11 hours?
11 hours. So over halfway into the flight, they have to turn around and go back. Why wouldn't they just go ahead and finish the flight?
That's what I'm saying.
The airline says in a statement that Tuesday night's flight 443 returned to the Rio de Janeiro because of a, and I quote, technical flaw in some of its bathrooms. The flight lasts nearly, the flight usually lasts nearly 11 hours. All 438 passengers were offered a later plane. On July 10th, a bomb threat forced Air France to jet down for Paris to take an emergency landing in northeastern Brazil. Both flights were on the same route as the one where the jet crashed in 2009. You remember off of Brazil, killing all the people on board. But I was when I first read that story, I thought maybe it's longer, but it's 11 hours. So if they were 6 hours into it, I don't understand why they just wouldn't have gone on. I mean, either way, they're going to have to be on the plane about the same amount of time, and at least people would be to their destination. I'm not sure I understand the logic there.
Maybe the bathroom parts were in Rio.
Maybe so. Or maybe the plane. Who knows?
You would think that they have the technology to repair planes in Paris.
Right. I would think so.
The only thing I could think of is perhaps the bathroom parts were in Rio. Because otherwise, if it was creating an odor or an unhealthy situation,
the shortest amount of time.
The shortest amount of time we go on to Paris versus returning to Rio.
And they don't give details. But you would have to think if they turned around and went back, it had to be bad.
Right. It
had to be pretty bad. Much like the story we had a couple weeks ago about the maggots that were crawling all around the people on the plane.
True.
Falling out of the overhead storage onto people. They look, the lady picked something out of her hair. It was a maggot.
It happened to be reported.
Yes.
Very bad luck on the airline's part. And honestly, not necessarily the airline's fault unless the security is part of the airline's responsibility.
No, that part isn't. It does reflect poorly on the airline, unfortunately. But you should know that you can't bring meat.
But like you said, it's the TSA.
Right.
That should have caught.
Yes, it's not the airline. They don't have any say in that at all. But I mean, for meat to be full of maggots had to be left out for flies to lay eggs in. Why would you be bringing it on the plane with you?
Well, you don't want to go bad.
Well,
you leave it home, it might go bad.
Hand it out to the homeless.
That's true.
Oh, but then you get fined.
Yeah. It must have been Miami.
It must have been in Miami. Well, it was in Florida. I think it was in Tampa or that area. Here is a pork-related, since we had a pork rind, here's a pork-related story. Not really. Police said authorities at Six Flags Great America ejected 2 off-duty employees from the theme park after they allegedly attacked a female colleague dressed as Porky Pig. Sergeant John Ward says 2 young men took a photo with Porky on Monday afternoon and then punched the mascot in the head 10 to 15 times. Ward said park security detained the men until police arrived. They were issued local ordinance citations for battery. He said the suspects denied the attack, but witnesses confirmed the story. The 24-year-old woman inside suffered headaches and a stiff neck.
Reportedly is saying, I've been at home, folks.
So, seriously, they had to know, if they worked there, they had to know it was their coworker. I mean, that's uncalled for. But you have to admit, if you were walking through Six Flags and you saw these 2 guys just wailing away on Porky Pig, you probably might think it's part of the show. I mean, you might. And be like, yeah! They start throwing pork rinds at them. story goes to say that they did not make matters better for themselves by referring to the police officers as pigs. So
we obviously got something against pigs.
Yeah, exactly. So these people, these young men, really not the brightest. No. Let's see here. What else do we have?
Well, I got the one about 2 feet of feces.
Yeah, well, you know what? We have enough room for another feel-good story.
We like feces-related stories.
Right, we do.
This includes 100 animals removed from a South Philly home during a raid Wednesday evening. The raid happened at 6 p.m. in the 700 block of Burke Street. We got 3 floors. They're in every floor, in every bedroom, every room in the property, George Bengal of the SBA explained. Bengal estimated approximately 100 animals, mostly chihuahuas, were rescued from the home. According to eyewitnesses, the floors of the home were covered in nearly 2 feet of animal feces. Bengal described the woman who lived in the home as a hoarder who kept the animals inside the house. The investigation in the home began a year ago. It took them that long to rescue these animals, when neighbors began complaining of an overwhelming stench coming from the home. It took months to obtain a warrant to enter the home. They were finally able to do so on Wednesday after receiving a tip call.
So there was over 2 feet of feces.
Yes. The SBA is keeping the animals. The city's Department of Licenses and Inspections has condemned the home and deemed the home uninhabitable. So,
nothing like a story as a segue into our dinner.
Yes. Are we having pork chops?
Mashed potatoes with brown gravy on them, with rice vermicelli. Yeah. To kind of go after our stories. Have you ever heard of suicide ants?
Suicide ants? No.
A species found in Malaysia has a very interesting defense. The colony is divided of different functional groups, one of which is soldier ants. They are charged with defending the colony at all costs. If battle ensues, they will self-destruct. They have 2 large glands that run the entire length of their body, and when they become stressed, the ant contracts its abdominal muscles, causing the glands to explode, spraying poison in all directions.
So they kill themselves?
Yes.
They make themselves self-destruct?
Yes. And they spew poison. Over the wood. And so I thought you might like to see a picture of this.
Yeah.
There's an ant spewing poison. Rather disgusting.
It is.
We even have videos of it.
Might make a good movie.
It might.
Invasion of the exploding poisonous ants.
And so, because we make every attempt to offend people,
since we do that, where do you think most of the porn comes from in the world?
That's what I was just. That was my tie-in.
Oh, was it really your tie-in?
I was going to say that these are probably Muslim ants, and then that was your tie-in.
Well, we have a story that we're running out of time, but I was just shocked to find out that the #1 nation as far as downloaded porn was Pakistan, or Pornistan.
Afghan, Iran, and Pakistan. So the most pornography downloaded is this per capita or just sheer volume?
I didn't read it that closely to see.
Nonetheless, the Pakistan does top the list.
It's the leader of online searches for pornographic material.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Of course, they have no strip clubs.
I wonder, do we have any listeners?
So
I wonder if we have any listeners there, Afghan or Pakistan.
I don't think so. They're probably all online watching porn.